Welcome to the eBusiness Playbook podcast, proudly sponsored by Academy Global, where we help you go from theory to reality, empowering you to elevate your e-business. Join our open community at the eBusiness Playbook by Academy on Facebook and LinkedIn, and check out our training packages at academyglobal.com to find out more.
Welcome to the eBusiness Playbook.
Great to be here.
So if you're a business owner, maybe you're using sales funnels already, or maybe you're just trying to build that whole sales engine out. You've probably heard the word funnel.
Oh, yeah.
And let's be honest, it can feel kind of overwhelming, right? It gets buried under all this digital marketing jargon.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much terminology floating around.
So today we're doing a deep dive into something specific. Simple funnels that actually work. We want to figure out what's effective, what cuts through the noise.
Exactly. Our mission, really, for you listening today, is to give you a kind of streamlined shortcut. We want to slice through all that complexity.
Yeah, just focus on the practical stuff.
Right. The essential strategies that actually convert customers.
Right.
So if your current funnel feels maybe a bit stale or, overly complicated, we want to give you a blueprint to simplify things.
Okay, so the core idea we're exploring is simplicity. Getting results by focusing. Effective funnels, they basically simplify converting leads into customers by honing in on those key stages. Awareness, consideration, and then action.
That's the traditional view.
Yeah.
Awareness, consideration, action. Simple enough.
But, and this is the big but, isn't it? The whole digital landscape has shifted things significantly.
Oh, completely. That's really the crucial difference now. It's no longer just about optimizing for that immediate purchase. Not anymore.
It's bigger than that.
Much bigger. It's about nurturing long-term relationships, focusing on retention. And, the modern funnels really reflect this change. They're moving away from being this linear one-and-done kind of trap.
Right, like a mousetrap where the customer goes in and snap sale done.
Exactly. Instead, they're becoming more like a continuous loop, something self-sustaining. Honestly, if your funnel just stops dead at the purchase, it's probably already obsolete.
Wow, okay. That's a big statement. So let's unpack that shift. Maybe we should start with the foundations, how we got here.
Good idea. Understanding the basics helps see why things evolved.
Yeah, for business owners, we need to get the mechanics without getting lost in abstract theory. And I guess the great-grandparent of all funnels is still AIDA, right?
Yeah. It's absolutely foundational. And it's foundational because it mirrors a very simple, very human process of making a decision.
Okay.
It outlines those 4 stages pretty clearly. First, you've got awareness, that's just capturing attention, getting on someone's radar.
Right.
Second is interest. You've got their attention. Now you need to generate some curiosity about what you offer.
Make them lean in a bit.
Exactly. Third is desire. This is where you create that emotional want for the product or service. It's not just logical anymore.
Okay, I need this feeling.
Precisely. And finally, number 4 is action. That's the prompt to actually make the purchase, sign up, whatever the goal is.
Awareness, interest, desire, action. AIDA.
Simple. Simple, classic, and still relevant to the psychology of it all.
And from AIDA, we kind of naturally got that framework people use for content planning. TOFU, MOFU, BOFU. Sounds like lunch options.
Yeah, it does a bit. But it stands for top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. And that segmentation is actually super helpful for planning your content.
How so?
Well, the top of funnel, TOFU, is where you attract brand new visitors, people who might not even know they have the problem you solve yet. This is usually broad content, blog posts, SEO, social media awareness.
Okay, casting a wide net.
Exactly.
Right.
Then you get to the middle of funnel, MOFU. This is really the crucial nurturing stage. Here you're building trust with more informative content. Think webinars, case studies, detailed guides. They know they have a problem. Now they're exploring solutions.
Right, they're considering their options.
And finally, the bottom of funnel, BOFU. This is all about driving the final conversion. The content here is very targeted: free trials, demos, consultations, special offers. They're ready to choose.
TOFU, MOFU, BOFU. Okay, that makes sense for structuring things. But you mentioned earlier that funnels stopping at the purchase are obsolete. So the moment we start talking about keeping customers after the sale, about retention, that linear TOFU, MOFU, BOFU structure starts to show its limits, doesn't it? Why did we need to evolve past that?
Because fundamentally that linear model treats the customer like an input that produces an output, the sale. And then, well, that's sort of it. the relationship effectively ends.
The transaction is complete. Next.
Pretty much. And what's really fascinating, I think, is the rise of the flywheel model as an alternative. It completely flips the script.
The flywheel. Okay, how does that work?
It recognizes something really powerful.
Yeah.
That your happy customers are actually your best salespeople. So the flywheel emphasizes a continuous cycle. It's about attracting, engaging, and delighting customers.
Attract, engage, delight. Huh?
And the key is that it uses the momentum generated by your existing delighted customers to help attract new customers and keep the whole thing spinning. It feeds itself.
Ah, so the output of one stage feeds back into the beginning. It's not just a straight line.
Exactly. It's a loop. It keeps momentum going, even after the purchase.
Yeah.
Which makes perfect sense if you want sustainable growth.
And I've also heard of the bow tie funnel. Does that fit in here too?
It does, yeah. The bow tie model basically reinforces that same idea, that emphasis on the post-purchase phase. It almost formalizes the fact that the conversion, the sale, it's just the midpoint of the relationship. It's definitely not the end.
The midpoint, okay. Like the knot in the bow tie.
Precisely.
Yeah.
The bow tie model literally focuses on two symmetric sides. You've got the acquisition strategy before the purchase on one side, and then the equally important retention and advocacy efforts after the purchase on the other side.
So it visually balances pre-sale and post-sale?
And this relationship-first structure aligns perfectly with another practical model, especially for content planning. The see, think, do, care model.
See, think, do, care. Okay, that sounds pretty intuitive. Probably easier for a business owner to map content to that.
I think so, yeah. It's very practical. See is your broadest awareness, content reaching people who could be customers. Think is the content for those actively considering solutions in your category.
So comparing options, learning more?
Right. Do is the content aimed squarely at driving the final purchase or conversion decision. And then care. This is everything you do after the purchase. Post-purchase, engagement, support, community building, all the nurturing that turns a one-time buyer into a loyal customer, maybe even an advocate.
That care stage seems like where the flywheel and bow tie really live.
Absolutely. It closes the loop and starts feeding energy back into the see and think stages through referrals and positive word of mouth.
Okay, so we understand the theory now, from the basics like ADA all the way to these continuous relationship-focused models like the flywheel.
Right, the evolution makes sense.
Now, let's get really practical. For a business owner who's maybe designing their own customer journey or refining an existing one, what does a successful, simple funnel actually look like on the ground? Where do you even start building? And crucially, how do you make sure it's effective and, importantly, intuitive for the user?
That's the key question. We start by really prioritizing those nurturing tactics, especially in that middle think phase we talked about.
Okay, the MOFU or think stage.
Yeah. The initial stages like SEO or content marketing, they grab attention. That's the C phase. But the middle is where you actually build trust and credibility.
So what does that look like? Emails?
It means using things like, yes, targeted email campaigns that offer genuine value, not just sales pitches. It means informative webinars that educate potential customers. Maybe free tools or checklists that help them understand their problem better using your framework. It's about making sure you're relevant to their needs at that specific point.
Value first, sell second.
Essentially, yes, especially in the middle.
And we can't ignore the design aspect either, can we? We often talk about user experience or UX design. I think probably every business owner listening has spent hours fiddling with a button color.
Yes. The infamous button color A/B test.
Only to realize later the real problem was maybe confusing navigation or unclear steps.
Design is absolutely crucial, not just for aesthetics, but for building trust and ensuring smooth flow. The funnel has to be easy, almost effortless to navigate.
Because friction kills conversion.
Instantly. If a user feels lost, confused, or frustrated, they're gone. They'll just drop off. So this means you need crystal clear calls to action, CTAs. They need to be unambiguous, visually prominent, and contextually relevant at every single stage. They literally guide the user step by step through their journey.
Don't make them think too hard about what to do next.
Exactly. Make the desired path the easiest path.
Okay, so beyond that initial design and structure, you mentioned modern funnels need constant refinement. We have to keep optimizing. Why is that continuous monitoring, things like A/B testing, why is that so essential now? Is it just because things change fast?
That's a huge part of it, yes. Consumer behavior shifts constantly. What worked last month might not work next month. Plus, let's be honest, your initial assumptions about what will resonate, they're often wrong.
Guilty as charged.
We all are. So the primary tool here really is A/B testing. You absolutely must be testing different elements, your messaging, your headlines, your content formats, your offers, even your audience targeting strategy.
Test everything.
Well, test systematically. Use performance data. Look at things like engagement levels on specific content, which traffic sources are converting best, where people are dropping off in the funnel. Use that data to inform every change you make. This constant feedback loop prevents your funnel from becoming static and ineffective.
Okay, and that testing idea brings up another critical point you touched on, segmentation. If we're aiming for simple funnels, does that mean we just treat all leads the same way? Or is it simple for the user, but sophisticated behind the scenes?
The latter, definitely. Simple for the user, smart for the business. Segmentation and targeting are, I'd say, non-negotiable for truly effective conversion today.
Why is that?
Because personalized marketing messages just work better, period. You need to understand not just the basic demographics of your audience like age or location, but more importantly, their psychographics.
Psychographics. What exactly does that cover?
It means understanding their motivations, their emotional drivers, their values, their lifestyle, their existing preferences, and maybe most importantly, their specific pain points and challenges.
Yeah.
What keeps them up at night?
Okay, going deeper than just female, aged 35, 45.
Much deeper. When you understand those psychographics, you can tailor your content and messaging so precisely that it resonates deeply with each segment. It ensures the right message hits the right person at the exact moment they're ready to consider a solution like yours.
That's powerful.
That makes sense. Okay, so let's say we've built this funnel, we've designed it well, we're testing and segmenting.
You're doing all the right things.
Right. Now we need to prove it. Prove that this simple, focused strategy is actually delivering tangible results. For business owners, showing that ROI is obviously vital. How do we do that effectively? Let's talk about case studies.
Case studies, yes. They are incredibly powerful, especially in the B2B space, but B2C too. And they move way beyond just simple testimonials.
How are they different?
A good case study is a structured narrative. It's specifically designed to overcome buyer skepticism by showing, not just telling. They need to follow that clear structure. Identify a relatable problem the customer had, detail a specific solution you implemented, and then crucially demonstrate the precise, measurable results achieved. Problem, solution, results.
Exactly. That structure allows potential buyers to see themselves in the story and envision achieving similar success with your help.
And you mentioned measurable results. Those need to be quantifiable, right? Data-driven proof seems key.
Absolutely essential. Vague claims just don't cut it. Data is what sets great case studies apart from fluffy marketing pieces. I was really struck by the example in our source material about Asana's case study featuring Zoom.
Oh yeah, tell us about that one.
Well, they didn't just say Zoom saved time. They reported saving a massive 667 workdays annually.
Wow, 667 workdays. That's huge.
It's incredible, right? And they also reported achieving over 90% program adoption. Those are concrete business impact metrics. Numbers like that are essential for credibility because they allow a prospect to calculate the potential effectiveness in their own company's context. They can think, what would saving 600+ workdays mean for us?
That kind of specific data makes it instantly relatable and believable.
But data alone isn't quite enough. To really make those metrics stick, you need the human element too. You need that authenticity.
What do you mean? Like quotes?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Effective case studies absolutely must incorporate real customer quotes, maybe even short personal narratives from the people involved. That humanization makes the story relatable on an emotional level, not just a logical one. It builds significant trust, especially when a prospect is in that final decision stage, maybe comparing you against a competitor.
The story plus the data. Got it.
That's the winning combo.
Okay, let's dig into metrics a bit more then, because if the goal now is these continuous customer relationships, like the flywheel suggests, then just looking at website traffic or basic conversion rates feels, I don't know, incomplete.
It absolutely is incomplete. Those are top-of-funnel or mid-funnel indicators, but they don't tell the whole story.
So if we're focusing on these continuous funnels, why is something like customer lifetime value or CLV becoming such a crucial metric? Maybe even more important than just how many new leads we got this month.
Because CLV directly measures the success of that whole post-purchase care stage we talked about. It reflects the long-term value of a customer relationship.
Right.
So beyond just basic conversion rates, you really need to focus on metrics that drive sustainable business success. Customer lifetime value, CLV, is paramount. Why? Because engaged, loyal customers who stick around and buy again inevitably show a higher CLV. It directly proves the financial value of your retention efforts.
It shows the care stage is working and paying off.
Precisely. And alongside CLV, you also need those qualitative measures. Things like Net Promoter Score, NPS, how likely are customers to recommend you, and customer satisfaction, CSAT scores. These give you insight into loyalty and advocacy potential, which feeds back into the flywheel.
So it's a mix of hard numbers like CLV and softer feedback like NPS.
You need both for a complete picture.
And what's really fascinating here, I think, is this clear shift you're describing, away from just counting the quantity of leads towards measuring the quality of engagement. That feels like it really defines this new continuous funnel model.
It absolutely does. It's a fundamental shift in perspective. Take webinars, for example. It used to be all about registration numbers, how many people signed up.
Yeah, vanity metrics sometimes.
Right. But now, the smart approach is to assess attendees' actions. What specific questions did they ask during the Q&A? How did they respond to polls? Did they download the follow-up resources? That level of active engagement provides much richer, more predictive insights into their likelihood of converting later on.
So you're tracking signals of real interest, not just presence.
Exactly. Tracking these significant user actions is how you measure the true health and effectiveness of your funnel, not just its sheer throughput, quality over quantity.
Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but we know every strategy has its hurdles. Implementation isn't always smooth.
Never is.
So for business owners listening, recognizing these common obstacles, these pitfalls, it can mean avoiding some expensive, frustrating mistakes. As we kind of wrap up the practical side here, what are some of the most common challenges or roadblocks people face when they try to implement or optimize these simpler, more modern funnels?
That's a really important question. Probably one of the most frequent challenges, especially for smaller businesses, is simply limited resources.
Time and money, basically.
Exactly. They often struggle to allocate enough budget or, just as often, enough dedicated time to do everything properly. Content creation, testing, analysis, optimization, it takes effort.
So what's the fix? Just try harder.
If only. The realistic solution is usually about ruthless prioritization. Focus on the highest impact activities first, and seriously consider leveraging automation tools where possible. Maybe outsourcing specific tasks like content writing or ad management, or even exploring strategic partnerships to share the load. You have to get creative with resources.
Okay, be smart about where you spend your limited time and cash. What else?
Another big one is that the market just never sits still. That leads directly to the second major challenge: rapid market changes.
Things evolve so fast online.
Constantly. Customer behavior shifts, new competitors emerge, platform algorithms change. What worked brilliantly 6 months ago might be totally obsolete today. So you absolutely must adopt an agile marketing approach.
Agile? Like in software development?
Kind of, yeah. It means emphasizing continuous testing, being willing to experiment, learning quickly from data, and staying constantly informed about industry trends and what your competitors are doing. You have to be ready and willing to pivot your strategy, sometimes quickly, or your funnel's performance will inevitably degrade.
So build flexibility in from the start.
Don't get too attached to one way of doing things.
Okay. Are there also common mistakes within the funnel content itself? Things that business owners might overlook that actually drive prospects away?
Oh, definitely. There are some fatal flaws you see pretty often. Maybe the biggest content error is fundamentally ignoring audience pain points.
Not understanding the customer?
Or not showing that you understand them. If your content, your emails, your landing pages, your ads doesn't clearly resonate with the audience's specific struggles, their hopes, their language, it just feels generic, impersonal.
Like junk mail.
Exactly. And that immediately drives prospects towards a competitor who maybe does demonstrate a better understanding of their world. Your content absolutely have to reflect their challenges and offer genuinely relevant solutions. It has to feel like it was written for them.
That makes sense. You have to earn their attention by being relevant.
You do. And that leads directly to another common problem, especially in the middle of the funnel. Pushing the sale too hard too early.
The hard sell.
Yeah. Over-promotional content in that think or consideration stage is a major turnoff. Remember, at that point, prospects are looking for value. They want helpful educational content. They want to compare features and benefits fairly. They are not ready for a heavy-handed sales pitch designed for someone at the very bottom of the funnel.
So respect where they are in the journey.
Absolutely. Pushing the sale too soon just alienates those leads you've worked hard to nurture. Save the stronger calls to action for the do stage.
Okay. And finally, what about just messing up the execution, even with good intentions?
Yeah, that happens too. Simple execution errors can break an otherwise well-designed funnel. That usually comes down to a couple of key things.
Like what?
First, weak calls to action, CTAs. We mentioned needing clear CTAs earlier, but the flip side is having ones that are vague, hidden, confusing, or just uninspired. They fail to guide the user effectively.
The user doesn't know what you want them to do.
Right. And second, related to that, is the overcomplication of processes. Too many steps, too many form fields, confusing navigation, slow loading pages. Any unnecessary friction point frustrates prospects and gives them an excuse to leave. A smooth, intuitive, almost frictionless experience is essential as they move towards conversion. You have to ruthlessly eliminate those sticking points.
Make it easy for them to say yes.
That's the goal.
Wow, okay. We've covered a lot of ground here, from the history to the practical step and the pitfalls. So let's try and synthesize this. What does this all really mean for the business owner out there who's just trying to build a sales engine that actually works consistently?
Yeah, let's tie it together.
It feels like the key takeaway is that simple, effective funnels today are really about balancing clarity for the user with sophistication behind the scenes. We talked about those foundational models like ADA, just to understand the psychology.
And the building blocks?
But then we saw that critical modern evolution towards continuous customer relationships, using ideas like the flywheel and the bow tie funnel. It's not just about the first sale anymore.
Not at all. Retention is key.
And then we got practical. Designing with clear CTAs, making navigation intuitive, using segmentation and personalization smartly.
Understanding those psychographics.
Right, and focusing on the metrics that actually matter long-term, like customer lifetime value and the quality of engagement, not just raw numbers.
Exactly. Measuring what truly drives sustainable growth.
So if you had to connect this all to the bigger picture, what's the final thought? Where does this leave us?
Well, I think if we connect all these dots, the simplest, but also the most effective funnels operating today, they don't really have an endpoint at the purchase. They're genuinely continuous. They're customer-centric machines designed for the long haul.
Always running.
Always running, always nurturing. And the true measure of whether your simple funnel is actually successful, it's how well you leverage that care stage, that post-purchase engagement. How effectively do you turn a satisfied one-time customer into a loyal repeat buyer and maybe even into a powerful vocal advocate for your brand?
That's the ultimate goal, isn't it? The customer becomes the marketer.
That's where sustainable, scalable growth truly happens. That advocacy piece feeds the entire system. It's the fuel for the flywheel.
So maybe the challenge for everyone listening this week isn't just to think about how many cold leads they brought into the top of their funnel today.
Yeah, shift the focus.
The real question might be, how many loyal advocates did you actively create this week through your post-purchase care and engagement? That feels like the crucial mindset shift that really defines modern successful e-business.
That's it, exactly. Focus on building advocates, not just acquiring customers. That's the long game.
For the complete PDF with all the insights from this episode, head over to academyglobal.com. There, you'll find the PDF, plus other valuable podcasts and resources to fuel your business growth and career success. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.